Hi, this is Monica Alford. I am the founder and CEO of Wildside Media, and I'm back in Legacy Sessions for another interview segment. I'm super excited today to have Andra A.J. Johnson, who is the beverage director and managing partner of Serenata, and Daniela Senor, who is the CEO of Colada Shop. And I am speaking with them today about Sunday Supper. It's the 12th annual flagship event at Union Market in Union Market District. This year it will be held at Dock 5, and it's on Sunday, June 2nd. And we're chatting today about the importance of this event and all the ways that women in hospitality in Union Market District are just, being bosses and making things happen. So I just want to kick it off by saying thank you for being here. And I'd love to learn, I know, but I'd like everybody else to learn a little bit more about your connection to Union Market District and any experience you have with Sunday Supper in past years.
Of course.
And now I'll kick it to you because I'm making eye contact with you.
Oh,
or Danielle.
So my personal experience with Sunday Supper, it's always been a very, very big deal. And I love the fact that it's an event that we can showcase our creativity and what we do at Serenata. Like, we still get to tell our story within that Latin vein and that Latin thread that we always try to have, whilst being able to share that with different people that may have not heard of us before or really sort of frequent Union Market District a lot. It's super fun just being able to engage with people in that way and talk to them about what we do. So it's 5 years running for us right now, I think, that we've been able to do this, and so it's always a great night.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we've done it a while, and same with Colada. I think it's even longer than 5 years. And Sunday Supper and what it represents in support of women is just really essential. I love how Jody and Eden's, along with the James Fear Foundation, have put this incredible event together that's super well curated, brings together like the best in the hospitality industry, really. Just the people there are amazing. The people that are visiting the event are great, but also, all the chefs, bartenders, mixologists, everyone there is just like top notch, and the cause is even better. Really being able to support the WELL program really touches home for me, as it really is a program that helps develop women in hospitality and helps them really catapult their growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a few questions about the WELL program, including you spelling out that acronym, because there's a lot of acronyms involved with this event. There's a lot of wonderful initiatives. So I'm going to make you do that. But can you tell me a little bit about any sneak peek of something that you will be doing this year with this year's event, or can you tease it at all, or even something you're excited about that that's happening?
Yeah. So I think this year is the first year we're actually going to do a collab Serenata Colada Shop cocktail.
Yep.
So we're going to do some fun things with espresso, since it's everybody's favorite cocktail right now. We're going to hit the trend. It's okay.
I like it.
It's totally cool, but we are going to, again, add a little bit more of that like Serenata flair to it. It's a Latin vibe, maybe a little bit of a tropical vibe to it as well.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
A little Havana blend.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so now back to you. So WELL program. So it's Women's Entrepreneurship
And Leadership.
Program. Okay. So can you talk about your experience a little more in depth with the WELL program and sort of what you got out of it, which is clearly a lot, and why you would recommend it to other women in hospitality?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate enough to be in the 2018 class along with the other 20 women, which from all over the country, at different stages in their businesses and different types of businesses. And I know the program has changed a little bit, but at the time we went to Boston, to Babson College for a week, and really got to not only analyze our own business, but also learn things like, hey, how do you negotiate a deal? Like how you read your P&L well. Just certain things that we were able to work with experts directly at Babson at the time that really had direct impact towards our business. And like by the time you leave, you're having a full presentation in front of potential investors, but also just really for you to practice. And it's really a growth plan, right? How are you taking your business from where it's now to where you want it to be? And again, that for me was 2018. I can't even count. So six years ago.
Yeah.
And I guess we were at one location at the time. So now we are at 6. So, it did something. I'll say that much. But it really honestly just not only gave me the confidence on a lot of subjects that at the time maybe I wasn't as confident in, but it also, I think one of the most important things for me, it gave me a network. It gave me a network of amazing women that I can pick up the phone and be like, hey, what are you doing on this subject? What's your experience? Do you recommend someone here? And the fact that we were not all in the same place, that kind of really removes the competition factor, and it's really more of just like a support network. And we're able to like pull resources, just give each other advice. And to this day, like this group, we take vacations together. We meet up at least once a year. Like we're really, really close. We have a group chat going. And that's like ultimately outside of, all the amazing programs that James Stewart actually puts together and support. Like, they have upcoming another summit for WAL alums that, is covering a number of subjects that, again, it's just helping women by giving them the tools that they are needing, just furthering their education and putting them in front of amazing people.
Yeah. I mean, I got almost an exact quote last week from Fiona and Gina about that, which is amazing. That sounds like a very similar reaction and experience. And I was using the term tangible toolkit because I was thinking a lot about community events and initiatives where you can walk away and know a little bit more about how to support your business. Like that's important. I did a panel recently in La Cosecha where it's an annual panel, as AJ knows. AJ's been on it.
Yes.
Talking about intersectionality in business, and specifically in femme and queer and non-binary spaces, and obviously for people of color, and in hospitality and the arts, et cetera. And this year we've switched up the format a little bit to say, like, let's do a networking hour beforehand so that the folks in the audience can speak to each of these panelists and bring a notebook, and hopefully you walk away with like 3 new resources you didn't know about how to apply for grants, or how to like apply for like a leadership role that you might, or a program that you didn't know existed, and you don't have to have 10K to do it. It's free, and it's an open resource that's available to you that you might have not even known about. So that really was well received, and so I'm excited to keep doing that kind of programming. And it sounds like that's wonderful that you have this built-in support network.
Yeah, the network is the most important thing.
Yeah,
obviously
absolutely.
everybody's got good ideas. 100%, but being able to execute them properly, understanding again like the technical side of things, is a lot more difficult than people actually realize, especially in the hospitality industry. So being able to have events like yours and have programs like WELL are super important. Yeah.
Is there anything either Union Market, Sunday Supper specific or otherwise, that like a program or anything you've done recently that really has helped you in this way, locally, nationally?
Honestly, not recently. Not recently. I think a lot of the things that I've either been called to talk on or speak on, or my expertise was asked for, had to do more so with spirits-driven things, or honestly, mental health. I do remember being and sitting on a panel with you and having to have the discussions about like, well, what do you do for yourself? And I think coming from a little bit more of a creative space, it is kind of hard to sort of tear yourself away. And so being able to have those conversations, I think that those are probably the most beneficial conversations I've had probably in recent panels. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's
Yeah.
good feedback. I'll keep doing it then. Yeah. I mean, I think people in general in a post-COVID world want to connect in more intentional ways, right? And it's creating safe spaces, whatever that looks like, a program, a panel, a bar, a restaurant, where these conversations can be had and you're supporting each other for sure. So on that note, I know you two have worked together for at least, 5 years? Is that 5 years? Yeah. And I mean, I personally view the whole, Colada Shop, Serenata empire as being, full of bosses, people that I feel I've been lucky enough to get to know and cover over the years for different media outlets. So, I can't sing your collective praises, highly enough. I shout them from the rooftops. But I also know, you both have your own areas of focus, and you, I'm sure, have very different working styles, but you're also a united front always, and it shows. And I think that's really important when you're really passionate about something and you give it everything, which you do. And hospitality is part of the creative community, 100%. Like, so I'm just like, as creatives or creators, that these are our babies, right?
Yeah.
So I would just love to, if there's anything you want to share for anybody who might be listening, or watching about any lessons learned about working together or ways that you found to communicate or work through things or support one another, I think that would be great.
No, 100%. I mean, I think when you start a business with somebody, and I mean, from ground to like opening day and beyond, you really are sort of like forging a familial like relationship, right? Like, yes, they say like mixing like family and business is not the thing to do. I think you can grow into that sort of like family space where you can support one another, but also hold each other accountable. I think the one thing about our partnership and with our third partner as well is that we each have a distinct space that we live in and a distinct like area of expertise. So where, you know, two of us may have very, very, very big, like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do oxtail. I want to do bone marrow. I want to do this in a cocktail and this in a cocktail. And then you have somebody who's super practical and super technical and has the skills to be like, okay, well, this is what it looks like to make it. This is what it looks like to cost it. How is it going to be efficient? How are we going to be able to get that out in time? Like, in those things that make it just sort of stop and not necessarily rein in the creative process, but really make it profitable at the end of the day. I mean, obviously I want everybody to have a good time and drink good stuff, but if it's not making money, it's not making sense. And it's humbling, but also it is a lesson to be learned within every other thing that I do. Right? So yes, I want to make this drink, but let me cost it first. Let me see who can provide it first. Let me see if I can get somebody to print my menus for, you know, just any way to sort of, to be able to, you know, progress as a business, and being able to have somebody that I can call like immediately and text and be like, hey, this isn't looking right, or how can we do this if it's like this? You know, it's super, super special and super, super helpful, because those part of the things I think I've always just lived in the creation and the operations space. And so just being able to have somebody look at it from another side
Or like
is,
macro level, right?
Yeah,
It's like
so important, because I also work the floor as well. So, you know, being in the whirlwind is very hard to it's very hard to do. And so, you know, being able to have somebody support you and simultaneously check you is it's invaluable to me. Yeah.
I think to add to that is, for me, having very like defined roles is very crucial, of just like, okay, this is your lane, this is my lane. And always, you know, I think respect, you know, and I think you said it, and it's because it's true. It's just like we always come on a united front. Like we know that we have each other's back, and that, you know, having that trust that, you know, she knows I'll never do something to intentionally like hurt her, coming from a bad place, and that doesn't mean we always agree. To be honest, we, you know, it's a partnership, and you know, it can be a husband and wife partnership, or wife and wife partnership, or whatever type of partnership, or you know, a business partnership. You know, you don't always agree. But I think if you
It'd be
have...
weird if you did.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think
really would
that's
be.
a little too same. You know, like I think there should be conflict is healthy.
It's
if
just like,
handled well.
you know, having defined lanes, and just having that underlying, like, okay, I trust this person, you know, that regardless of, you know, if we don't agree on the decision, it's, you know, because ultimately they're using their expertise to the best of their knowledge for the, you know, our the best for our, you know, our common ground. Like what's, you know, what's our common ground. So like at the end, we want a successful business. We want, not only from a monetary scenario, but also from, like, I think we have a lot of common goals. Is like, you know, what we want Serenata to be and achieve, and, you know, and bring it in. And, you know, and I think respecting each other's perceptions and what we are bringing to the table has, I think, always been very crucial. Like, we just respect each other's lane. And it's just like, okay, and but we always also give feedback. It's just like, okay, like, I see this, how about this? You know, like, doesn't mean we come to suggestions, and you know, and it's I think that's the underlying thing. It's just the respect and the trust. And the moment, like, you don't have trust in any type of relationship, you don't really have anything. So I think for me, that's really what comes first.
Yeah, it's important.
It is very important.
So in terms of, you know, any advice that comes to mind, whether it's around working relationships or, you know, how you've built this hospitality empire in DC, and also just being, you know, women at the helm of a business, women of color at the helm of a business, a queer woman at the helm of a business. Like, there's still a lot of scenarios in DC where that's not the case, or it seems unique and special, and it is unique and special, but it should be the norm more than it is. And we know this. And DC is small, and I think that things are changing, and it's really exciting, but it's still, there are a lot of people, I believe, that look up to both of you, for what you've built and what you do. And I'm very proud to know both of you for that reason too. So, for anybody who is, in any of those categories or all of them who might be like, well, God, it's still a guy's world, or like, I'm not a trust fund baby. How am I going to do this? Or whatever. I'm not knocking trust fund babies. Good for them. As long as they're doing good things for the community,
Yeah,
great.
that part.
But you know what I mean? But like, if for any reason financially, or for whatever, they're just feeling that they might not have, they may not be able to break through, and they're feeling discouraged. Like, what advice would you give them? To be like, you can do what I've done because I've done it,
All right. I said two main things that I've learned. Number one, yes, I check a lot of diversity boxes. I understand that, and I live in it. I love in it, but it's hard. It's very, very hard. I think that a lot of times, and this is actually something that I learned from you, because I've been, put down, or so like, no, like doors have been shut in my face, and not as many as I think a lot of other people, but I've gotten a lot of no's, and that made me very, very, very firm and very hard and very like, nope, I'm not gonna bend here. This is what it is. I don't care. And it's helped in some ways, and it hasn't in others. And the whole like, you catch more flies with honey kind of, or bees with honey kind of thing was definitely that. And so it's like something that I wrote the other day, actually. It was called The Flex and the Firm. And so like, I learned how to flex, you know what I mean? Like, hey, they're trying to achieve this, we want to achieve this. Why don't we flex here and then we stand firm here? That was something that I really, and truly thank you for that, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that skill. It was just firm. And so that was definitely a big turning point for me. I think the other is also like, definitely the hospitality industry, though it is essentially built on nepotism and like who you see as like the pinnacle in what they're doing. There is a point where a lot of our heroes, like we've seen them fall, especially in this city. And so being able to, look at people for who they are and what they've done and take those pieces, right? And do your best to connect with those people if you can. Do your best to try to get into those spaces. But at the end of the day, understand and trust your own personal vision, because who you entrust that vision with, and who you put all your eggs in a basket with is super important. Like you may lose everything. You may, see your concept being done somewhere else. You may see things that you don't want to see being done with a space that you want to create in. And, don't put yourself first and bet on yourself, right? But look for the help and take the things that are actually helpful to you. And keep your concept as core always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, from my end, I think I always say, like, it's not passion, it's perseverance to ultimately really making a business work, especially as a woman, and then as a minority woman. It just, the funding piece is really the biggest challenge overall that we have to overcome. We have less, as minority women, less than 0.5% of funding going towards us. So, most minority women-owned businesses are underfunded to begin with, which makes them, at a even much higher risk of failure. So I think that is definitely the first piece to overcome. And for that, I think is preparedness, right? Like really, really surround yourself with as many other people that have gone down that path as possible and the ways of mentorship. Even if it's not mentor, I think most people are willing to give advice. They might not be able to commit to a long-standing mentorship because their schedule doesn't allow, but hey, can I have 15 minutes of your schedule? I have these 2 questions that I just want some advice on. And I feel like most people are pretty open in that regards, but you would be surprised that valuable information that you can get from, just asking people that one question that have gone down that path, that will save you down the line so much. A headache. So I think it's kind of being willing to ask for help, being open, persevere, and not being hard-headed, honestly. It's like sometimes we are, I think her alluding to the flex and firm, it's just like we have our vision, right?
Yes.
And yes, you want to stay true to your vision, but you're not your own customer, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes things don't go exactly how you plan them out in that
Yeah.
business plan. The market change, the location change. Like there's just so many variables you can control, and how you handle the unexpected ones is
Right.
really what determines your success.
Right.
So I think it's just being able to take the hits with grace and stand up, but also reinvent yourself constantly while still staying true to who you are and
Yeah.
your concept. Yeah.
Which is, not easy to do.
It's not an easy
it's like
task.
It's like that change is the only constant, phrase.
Yes.
Like I feel like that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to embrace that a lot recently. No, I mean, this is all fabulous advice, and obviously it's hard not to listen to it and also think through, oh, well, I need to apply this to my everyday thing. But that flex, I feel like I've been having a lot of conversations. I had a 2-hour one this morning I wasn't anticipating about the importance of, relationships and also boundary setting. So if you have, again, I think this is like, whether it's media, whether it's hospitality, whether it's art, in the creative community in DC and elsewhere, but especially in DC where we're so small, if you've been burned in a certain way or gone through something, you have some past trauma, it's hard to, I'm finding in a lot of open conversations people are now having in this post-COVID world, that it's hard to navigate how to set that boundary and say, but also not then close doors, in the reverse, where there could be somebody who really wants to help you or work with you, but if you do it that way, they're like, oh, okay, well, that maybe not. Like
You don't know how much to give them. You're
right,
like, you're
right.
playing
Or
this
they're
game.
Like, oh, maybe like, and then you're like, did I do? Somebody might think if you do that they're like, oh, did I offend AJ? Does AJ not want to work with? Like, how do you do both? How do you keep that door
I
open
would
enough
say
to?
I love the phrase trust but verify.
Ooh, I like that too. That's good.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like, sure, I'll trust you, but I need things in writing.
Yeah.
Not because I don't trust you. I just need to have it in front of me. Like that's my comfort level. It's just great conversation. Can you send that in writing? Can I see the contract? And I
Well
see
done.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just trust but verify. Like I think allows, especially when you're starting off a business, I feel like that's the most crucial part. It's usually, it's just a moment where most people don't have it figured out. They don't have, all the experience, even if they have experience in the industry, not necessarily as a business owner,
Yeah,
so there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
And, contracts are a great thing. And bad contracts are a horrendous thing, right? So but having no contract is the worst of all, and word of mouth, things change down the line. People's I don't know. It's always good to have it in writing, have your things very clear, because then there is no well, you told me this and this.
Sure.
This is what we agreed. This
Sure.
is what's signed, and it's black and white.
Yeah.
And, and it's just there's certain things that having that gray space, I think, always creates further down the lines, especially in partnerships and
Right. Yeah, yeah.
businesses. Just that, I feel like that's where the turmoil,
Yeah.
builds.
No, it's
Yeah.
Confusion and disappointment and,
Well, you told me you were gonna give me this.
Right,
down
of
the
course,
line,
of
this was
course,
gonna
yeah.
happen. It's
Yeah.
this is what
Yeah.
here it
This was
is.
here.
And
Yeah.
and I think that has been one of the things that I've always been firm on, and having things in writing and having
smart.
for clarity of both parties. And I think it's been a godsend, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just really
Yeah. But I mean, even then, I have no problem saying, on the record that I've, even in recent experiences, had a written contract where, whatever the scope of work is right there. And it's still, something happened where it was like, well, that's not what I thought this was, or something changed. And I'm like, and that was, written down. So it can still happen.
It can still
but,
happen.
But it will happen a lot less. And that you're
Yes.
covering your bases. And that's really important. And yeah, I think for a lot of people that are really focused on giving back to the community and very empathetic and, want to create spaces for people like us to, shine and grow and all these things. It's kind of, I've learned to be a little more like you said, maybe you both said, protect, you have to protect yourself first. But also you can still be kind and, giving and all those things. It's just how do you set that boundary, but, do that at the same time. And that's something I'm learning, and it's changing all the time. Things I thought I had all figured out, and then something happened. I'm like, that threw me for a loop. I did not think that was going to happen. Whoops. And then you have to kind of do that gut check and self-reflection of I'm the first to say if anything went south or a way I didn't think it was, what did I do? Well, what could I have done better? What can I learn from? And sometimes it really is just, something you couldn't have controlled, but there's still always a lesson that comes out of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And I would say, like, we all work, we all give back a lot to that community. And AJ said it, back. It's like, well, does it, ultimately, does the business make money, right? That one thing that I always like saying, is like, if we cannot sustain our business, then we cannot give back, right? Like, if we run ourselves dry, there's nothing to give. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's also a fundamental part, like when we're dealing with a lot of, like you said, empathetic people and a lot of people that are very creative and want to give back to the community and want to make sure that, we're supporting each other. It's like, that's like, to me, it's like, well, if we run dry, there's nothing to give. So I can't support further. So that's always like a very important, like fundamental aspect of like what we're doing. So it's like, does it make sense like for the business, and then like how are we giving back, right? How are we supporting our community? But again, that first step has to be covered.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not a huge conglomerate. I love like you
That's how I
it, but we're not yet.
Yeah,
we will be at some
point.
point.
A small and scrappy empire.
Small and scrappy is where it's at right now. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean we're empire just in terms of like just watching you grow and succeed and garner so much well-deserved positive attention. I mean, everybody gets negative attention every once in a while, but I think in a small community where the overall the net feedback is a glowing recommendation for working with you or going to your spaces, like that's huge. You should be really proud of it. So, okay, I won't use empire anymore. I'll do words with the thesaurus. I'll find something else.
And the other thing is like I feel like key to success as well, just as you were saying, that is really like, especially in this industry and in this town, it's like everyone knows each other, right? And your reputation goes very much a very long way, and I feel like I end up seeing people that I worked with like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and it's like everything kind of comes full circle in a way. So it's just very important that you like nurture all relationships, like, they all matter,
My mom, what she always taught me was to kill with kindness. So kind of like the honey, like if I came home and said, this person was really mean to me at school, like they're a jerk. And she'd be like, nope, like just, you don't even let them know that it bothered you. You just say, well, thank you so much for your opinion. And I was like, really? I'm like 7. You're gonna tell me like, But I mean, like, and I mean, how many times have I had to eat crow on a daily basis, even though I'm like, I know I'm not in the wrong here, but you perceive this a certain way. And yeah, you're right. We're going to keep working together. This relationship matters. Like, it's you have to do it. But you can do it intentionally. You can still be like, respectfully, I disagree, and that's not actually the case. But also, I'm sorry that you feel that way, or there was that miscomm, or whatever. Can we move forward now?
Yeah, no, for sure.
You got to do it.
And then and also like stand firm because on certain things, right? But again, you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be rude. You just like these are my boundaries.
Yes.
This is what I can do. Or no, these are my prices because I know the worth of my work. So like
Yeah, that's very true. Well, back to Union Market District. I wanted to ask both of you if there's, anything else. It doesn't have to be hospitality specific that, you're excited about that's happening. I know there's a lot of businesses that have been opening. There's a lot of pop-ups and cool things appearing. I've loved, my old office was so close by, so it kind of became my home base, and I'm still doing so much with Union Market District and wanting to support everybody in La Cosecha and other businesses. So I just think it's like one of the locations of the city right now. So yeah, if there's anything in general that either of you are excited about it in Union Market.
Honestly, I have a meeting after this, actually, with Pride coming up and things like that. We're actually going to be doing a collaborative bar series with As You Are. Not sure if people know, but they like kind of lost their space. And I reached out to Joe and Coach, and I think again this is something that is super, super important, especially with women in the industry. It's like if you see somebody and they're not doing well, the least you can do is reach out. The most you can do is try to see if you can do something to help them get to where they want to be. And I love them to death. So I was like, look, you guys don't have a space. You guys have staff that need stuff. Pride is coming up. They have a whole list of things that like a repertoire of entertainment and acts and DJs and things like that I don't have. And I'm like, look, if we can make a Monday pop in Union Market for Pride and throughout the summer, let's try to do that. And so I actually have a meeting with them after this to try to see if we can get something going starting in June. So that is probably like the one thing that I'm most excited about right now.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you weren't on the panel the same year they were, right? It was two, but you were, Serenata was involved, like in that GDC panel.
I was
think you were
involved.
year one.
Joe was on the panel.
Oh yeah, okay, what was that
Oh,
same
yeah.
year? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
With the
when we took
mezcal shots being passed
Yes,
around?
that's
Yeah,
right. That was the
was
first
me.
year. Okay, you guys were year one, because this was year three.
Yeah.
It all blurs together, but that's
Yeah.
right, yeah. That was really fun. Well, I love that you're doing that.
Yeah.
When
Nah,
we're
it's
done
family.
here, I would like to learn more, because,
that.
yeah, see how I can help. Cool. Daniela? No pressure. Everything in your market's great, we know.
You know, I think AJ's a union market queen, honestly, over there. So, you know, I think there's always new and exciting things coming up. And right now, you know, everything is opening over there. There's definitely a lot of attention towards union market. And
Yeah.
we're just very excited to continue to be a part of it as Serenata. And you know, like, keep reinventing. Like, this girl has been doing some amazing classes and some spaces outside of Serenata, which is fantastic, as well as like events and Doc 5. And there's just, you know, a lot going on, and we're just excited to kind of, I feel like we've become like the union market, like, bar,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
meeting ground.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
Definitely.
So
Sure.
it's so exciting to see it actually, like, just flourish, you know,
Yeah.
for the last
Yeah,
5
absolutely.
years. Not that it hasn't been flourishing, but now it's really blooming. I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
if I
Well, did
should
anything
say.
really flourish when we were in the thick of, 2020?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just like,
Except for our community ties, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's what we
for
had.
sure.
That's what we
And
had.
I think that was super important, just being able to build that. But yeah, it was kind of like, oh no, we're the only thing open in here. And then it was COVID. And then it was, you know what I mean? And so like having everything open, like everybody always asks, like, oh, like, how do you feel about this opening? And I'm like, I feel amazing. It's absolutely wonderful because one, yes, everybody gets seen in those moments. But two, the more people that are coming to the area, the more chances that we have to interact with people.
yep.
And so, yeah, it's always nice to be like, all right, we're the only bar here. But then it's also like, dang, we're the only bar here. So we have to like do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so it's that if there's one thing I like about Union Market is that like you can collaborate with like your tenant down the street. You can collaborate, and do something with somebody in a different neighborhood and then bring their crowd over to there. It's very fun how we can move around, and also just like being able to like have a really strong tenant community it's been like fantastic. If I need a roll of, thermal paper, or I'm missing an avocado, like I can run across the market
Yeah.
and grab that from somebody, and they're like, yeah, just give it to me when you get it.
Yep.
And when you're in a standalone business like that, sometimes it's hard, or in a not like highly concentrated area like that, you've got to go 10, 15 minutes out of the way to go get something.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice just to see all these new businesses like sort of like come into fruition over
Yeah,
there.
it really does feel like a neighborhood in every
Yeah.
sense of the word.
Yep.
I took my mom for early Mother's Day to the That's So Vintage market
Mm-hmm.
at Dock 5 on Saturday. And we bopped in there and then went around to a few locations. And I ran into like 5 people in every place. And she was like, you know everybody. I'm like, well, no, I just know a lot of people here. Like, this feels like home base.
but you don't know everyone.
But you know what I mean? But it was one of those, it was so fun though, because it was like, and also I'm an extreme extrovert, but I was like really tired. We were supposed to go to dinner that night, and I was like, can we just hang out? Like, I was like, because we talked to so many people, and it was great. I loved it, but yeah, I think I don't always slow down enough to really fully appreciate the community that's been built there.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I see you like on a weekly basis where you're clearly busy and doing your thing. I'm in the middle of pitching something, but there's still like a fist bump
Yes,
or like a something, like
Yeah.
exactly. I wave from afar, and like that's all I need to know. But I also know that, if I can figure out which number is yours, because we were talking about this before, like all these cell phone numbers that I'm trying to reconfigure in your life. But
I'm
like I know
mysterious.
that if I ever needed you and see, obviously, same thing goes with Danielle. Danielle is in Colada Shop supported Wildside in a really prominent way with a happy hour when we were first launching with my tribe and my chosen family, and I was so appreciative, and I want to keep doing whatever I can to support your businesses and her new location in Clarendon, which I was going to see if you would talk about. But so I know that we're all busy, but it's so amazing to know that like you're a phone call away or text away if we ever need each other for anything. So yes, I forget where I was going with that. Union Market's a great neighborhood. That's what
Yeah,
you're
no,
saying.
it's
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I think if anyone's not incentivized to come to Sunday Supper or to support Union Market businesses now, then I don't know. That's some, that I don't know why else they would what else they need.
That part. Come for the espresso martini though.
Oh, I
too.
mean, yeah, I was gonna say,
Jesus.
yeah, for sure, yeah, and come visit Serenata this
Yes.
summer and June. Well, I guess you'll be announcing as you are
Yes,
programming
yes.
soon.
But the
That's
Salute
cool.
Patio Bar will be out there as well. So
Yeah.
come hang out with your dogs.
Love it.
Have a cocktail pouch. all
Yep,
that, yeah.
yep, cool. And then, yeah, Daniela, if there's anything you want to share about anything Claudia Shop, any of the locations are doing this summer, or just that you have this.
Well, we have a
cool
new one
location?
popping up.
Yeah.
So yeah, end of summer, National Landing.
Wow.
So yeah, so kind of new building.
Crossing the river again.
Yeah, you know, it's close. It's close.
Oh,
though. It's not that far away.
I'm on that
so,
side of the river, so I think
You know.
it's great.
You know, so we have that coming end of the summer. So you know, end of July, maybe August. So coming up. So that's exciting.
Very
so that's
exciting.
keeping me busy these days. And you know, Clarendon's doing great, and love the community so far. Everyone's honestly like so fun and vibrant, and just embraces everything. So like. Loving Virginia as well as DC, and you know, and my friends in Maryland too. So, but those
Yeah,
are
it
a
is
little
the
further away.
DMV.
Exactly. You know.
No,
Yeah.
just like,
No, but it's I honestly I'm so excited how you know post pandemic everything seems to starting to feel a little bit like it's coming back together and rebuilding stronger hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you both so much for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And
course.
folks, check out Sunday Supper online and
Yeah.
come visit Serenata. Go to Claudia Shop's new locations or their flagship, pictured here. Cool.
See you soon.